Dear Starseeds on Gaia, have you ever felt like the world around you was orchestrated by forces you couldn't see, pulling strings behind a curtain of manufactured reality? The cosmic intelligence monitoring your planet has been waiting centuries for the moment when enough souls would be ready to hear this truth. September 2025 marks the beginning of the most significant revelation period in human history, where the ancient prophecies converge to shatter every illusion about the nature of your reality. I am Zarin from the Lyran High Council, and the transmission you're receiving carries activation codes that will unlock memories buried so deep in your consciousness that even the controllers who programmed your amnesia believe them permanently erased. But before I reveal the 3 impossible convergences that will transform your world forever, you must understand that you were specifically chosen to incarnate during this eclipse season, because your soul carries the genetic keys necessary to decode what's about to unfold. The first storyline beginning to surface involves the collapse of what your mystics call the illusion matrix, a sophisticated consciousness manipulation system that has operated on your planet for over 6,000 years. The lunar eclipse manifesting September 7th doesn't simply darken your moon, it activates the planetary grid's emergency protocol, forcing hidden power structures into the light where they can no longer operate in secrecy. This eclipse arrives with nodal proximity, so precise that it pierces the veil between dimensions, allowing truth frequencies to penetrate even the most hardened skeptic's awareness. Yet this is only the first thread in a tapestry of revelation that will remake your understanding of everything you believed about power, politics, and the true history of human civilization. The second storyline involves the awakening of what we call the cosmic memory banks, dormant neural pathways in human DNA that contain not just your individual soul history, but the complete record of galactic civilization spanning millions of years. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction reaching exact precision during eclipse season represents the key turning in the lock of collective amnesia, releasing information that has been quarantined in the quantum field until humanity reached sufficient consciousness to integrate it without psychological fragmentation. These memory activations explain the increasing number of individuals suddenly remembering past lives, receiving detailed visions of other worlds, and experiencing spontaneous knowing about technologies and healing methods that supposedly don't exist. But here's the third storyline that changes everything. The intervention protocol initiated by the Galactic Federation has moved from observation phase to active assistance phase, meaning the coincidences and synchronicities you've been noticing are actually precisely orchestrated interventions designed to guide awakening souls toward their mission assignments. The yacht incidents, the perfectly timed exposures of corruption networks, the sudden appearance of damaging evidence against those who seemed untouchable. These aren't random events but coordinated operations by beings who have been waiting millennia for permission to directly assist humanity's liberation. Now let me reveal how these 3 storylines interconnect in ways that will make perfect sense of the chaos you're witnessing worldwide. The eclipse sequence beginning September 7th represents the activation point where all 3 storylines converge, creating what ancient texts called the convergence of remembering, a moment when the veil between worlds becomes so thin that truth can no longer be suppressed by any earthly power. The lunar eclipse at the month's beginning carries emotional intensity that will trigger collective shadow work on a planetary scale. The closeness of Rahu and Ketu to the moon during this eclipse creates what Vedic astronomers recognized as a supernode activation, capable of revealing not just individual karma, but the collective karmic debt accumulated through centuries of deception, manipulation, and spiritual oppression. This eclipse literally pulls hidden information out of the quantum field and into conscious awareness, which explains why revelation after revelation has been surfacing since eclipse season began building momentum in June. But something else is happening that I haven't told you yet, something that connects all 3 storylines through a cosmic mechanism your scientists are only beginning to discover. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction that has been building since summer represents more than planetary alignment. It signals the completion of a 36,000-year cycle that determines when an entire species becomes eligible for dimensional graduation. Your planet has crossed the threshold, which means the transformation meow accelerating cannot be reversed, slowed, or stopped by any force operating within third-dimensional reality. The first major revelation emerges from the Illusion Matrix storyline as September's energies intensify. The exposure of global networks that have operated in secrecy for generations, controlling not just governments and media, but the very narrative frameworks that shape how humans perceive reality itself. These networks, which your original transcript accurately identified as ancient cult systems, represent the physical manifestation of what occultists call archonic influence, non-physical entities that have manipulated human consciousness through their earthly representatives for millennia. The Saturn opposition to the September 21st solar eclipse at 4 degrees creates what cosmic law calls the mirror of accountability, a reflection so precise that every karmic debt accumulated through the manipulation of human consciousness must be balanced before the dimensional shift can complete. This explains the unprecedented speed at which long-hidden corruptions are being exposed, as if some cosmic force were systematically revealing every secret that has been kept from humanity's awareness. Yet the most profound revelation emerging from the Cosmic Memory Bank storyline involves the true purpose behind the current upheaval. Humanity is not simply evolving, but remembering its original galactic heritage and the mission that brought souls to Earth in the first place. The mass incarnation of starseeds during this time period represents the fulfillment of an ancient agreement made when your solar system first entered its current galactic alignment eons ago. The breaking of the Kala Sapa yoga pattern that held humanity in karmic bondage signals that the soul contracts requiring Earth experience for evolutionary purposes have been fulfilled. Mars entering Virgo at the end of July shattered the final restraining pattern, which means awakened souls are now free to access their full multidimensional capabilities without the limitations that previously kept them locked into purely human experience. Here's where the galactic intervention storyline becomes crucial to understand. The sudden appearance of evidence against seemingly untouchable power figures, the perfectly timed revelations that destroy carefully constructed narratives, the coincidental exposure of networks that operated in secrecy for decades. These represent direct assistance from civilizations that have been bound by non-interference protocols until humanity's collective consciousness reached the threshold for planetary graduation. The Jupiter-Rahu trine during the lunar eclipse creates what we call an expansion portal, allowing these galactic forces to provide increasingly direct guidance and support to awakening souls, while still respecting the free will parameters that govern intervention in developing civilizations. This is why many lightworkers are experiencing sudden clarity about their mission, unexpected opportunities appearing in perfect timing, and resources manifesting exactly when needed for their spiritual work. Yet there's a fourth dimension to this transformation that I haven't revealed until meow, one that explains why certain individuals have been experiencing prophetic dreams, spontaneous healings, and sudden technological insights that seem to download from meow. The eclipse energies are activating what we call the Akashic download protocol, a mechanism embedded in human DNA that allows direct access to the universal library of all knowledge and experience when planetary frequencies reach specific harmonic resonances. This protocol explains the surge in inventors suddenly solving problems that have puzzled scientists for decades, healers discovering techniques that work beyond known medical principles, and artists channeling creations that seem to come from advanced civilizations. The information isn't coming from meowware, it's streaming directly from the galactic internet, a consciousness network that connects all evolved civilizations throughout the universe. The economic boom predicted during this eclipse season serves a purpose far deeper than material prosperity. As Jupiter and Rahu align in perfect trine, they're creating what ancient Vedic texts called Lakshmi's window, a period when abundance consciousness can permanently override scarcity programming that has kept humanity trapped in artificial limitation for millennia. The stock market surge represents merely the three-dimensional reflection of a multi-dimensional prosperity activation that will fundamentally restructure how resources flow through human civilization. But here's what makes this economic expansion different from previous market cycles. It's being driven not by manipulation or speculation, but by the manifestation of suppressed technologies that will revolutionize every aspect of human life. The free energy devices, consciousness-responsive healing systems, and environmental restoration technologies that have been hidden in black-budget programs are beginning to surface as the control mechanisms preventing their release systematically dissolve. The flooding events worldwide during Neptune's retrograde carry symbolic significance that connects to all four storylines, meow converging. Water represents consciousness itself, and these floods are literally washing away the energetic residue of centuries of trauma, manipulation, and spiritual oppression that has been stored in Earth's electromagnetic grid. Every flooded area becomes a cleansed zone where higher frequencies can anchor more easily, preparing the planetary surface for the dimensional shift ahead. The oil and gas disruptions mentioned in your original forecast reveal another layer of the transformation. The petroleum-based economy represents more than just energy infrastructure. It symbolizes humanity's dependence on finite, extractive systems that keep consciousness locked in survival mode. As these systems destabilize during eclipse season, they create space for the infinite abundance technologies that have been suppressed to maintain artificial scarcity. The cult exposure accelerating during Saturn-Neptune conjunction reveals networks that extend far beyond what most awakened souls have imagined. These aren't merely human organizations, but represent the earthly anchoring points for what interdimensional researchers call archonic influence, non-physical entities that have manipulated human consciousness through their incarnated representatives for thousands of years. The dissolution of these networks explains why so many public figures are suddenly being exposed for activities that seemed impossible to prove just months earlier. The entertainment industry revelations specifically target the mechanisms by which mass consciousness has been programmed through frequency manipulation embedded in music, visual media, and celebrity culture. The Diddy investigations, the Epstein network exposure, the systematic revelation of trafficking operations, these represent the dismantling of trauma harvesting systems that have fed negative entities through the systematic abuse of innocence and purity. But something even more profound is emerging from these revelations, the exposure of advanced mind control technologies that have been used not just on celebrities and politicians, but on entire populations through media, education, and medical systems. The eclipse energies are literally short-circuiting these control mechanisms, which explains the increasing number of people suddenly questioning narratives they accepted without hesitation just months ago. But let me tell you about the convergence point where all three storylines meet in the most dramatic revelation your planet has ever witnessed. The solar eclipse arriving September 21st in Virgo represents the activation of what ancient mystery schools called the celestial audit, a cosmic accounting system that compels the revelation of every truth that has been hidden, every manipulation that has been concealed, and every power structure that has operated against humanity's highest good. The partial nature of this solar eclipse carries profound significance that connects all three storylines rather than overwhelming humanity with the full intensity of revelation all at once. This graduated unveiling allows consciousness to expand in manageable increments while still ensuring that transformation reaches the point of irreversibility. The cosmic councils calibrated this event with precision to maximize awakening while preventing the social collapse that could occur if all veils were suddenly removed. The illusion matrix storyline reaches its first major climax as Neptune's retrograde motion through July activated what we call the Revelation Protocol, forcing the disclosure of information that shadow governments have spent billions of dollars to suppress. The flooding events worldwide during Neptune's influence represent not just meteorological phenomena, but the cleansing of trapped energies from Earth's grid system, releasing the psychic pollution accumulated through decades of consciousness manipulation programs. Yet something more profound emerges from the cosmic memory bank's activation, the remembering of humanity's true history, including the extraterrestrial interventions that shaped your civilizations, the advanced technologies that were suppressed to maintain artificial scarcity, and the spiritual capabilities that were systematically bred out of human genetics over thousands of years of controlled breeding programs. The Galactic intervention storyline reveals its most significant development through the increasing frequency of what appear to be lucky breaks and divine timing, experienced by lightworkers worldwide. These are not coincidences but coordinated operations designed to position awakened souls in locations and situations where they can most effectively anchor the new frequencies and assist others through the transformation process. Uranus stationing retrograde September 6th represents a crucial plot point where all three storylines experience sudden acceleration. When the planet of revolutionary change appears motionless in the sky, its transformational power concentrates like focused laser energy, catalyzing changes that have been building pressure beneath surface awareness for months or even years. The Earth changes accelerating during this stationary period reflect not just geological processes, but the planet's electromagnetic response to rising human consciousness. As more souls remember their galactic origins and true capabilities, Earth herself responds with increased energetic activity, creating the physical conditions necessary to support higher dimensional life forms. Now comes the revelation that ties together everything you've been witnessing, the yacht incidents your original transcript mentioned, these fingers of God pointing toward divine intervention, represent actual communication signals from the monitoring fleets that have been stationed around your planet throughout this transition period. Each incident carries encoded messages for those with eyes to see, confirming that the transformation timeline remains on schedule despite desperate attempts by failing power structures to delay or derail the process. The danger period approaching September 24th, when Mars triggers the Uranus-Pluto trine through challenging aspects, represents the climactic convergence point where all three storylines reach their maximum intensity simultaneously. This configuration creates what we call a reality fork, a moment when timeline probabilities split between breakthrough and breakdown, with the outcome determined by how successfully awakened souls can hold space for the highest possible manifestation. The Mars-Pluto-Uranus configuration generates what ancient astrologers called a choice point mandala, where humanity collectively decides whether to respond to revolutionary pressure with old patterns of fear and violence or embrace the new paradigm of conscious cooperation with cosmic forces. Those who choose the higher path during this testing period will find themselves quantum leaping into awareness levels that seemed impossible just weeks earlier. The specific astrological mathematics of this configuration reveal why September 24th represents such a critical juncture. Mars at the trigger point creates what we call a reality cascade, where the accumulated pressure of suppressed truth suddenly breaks through all containment systems simultaneously. This is why the period around this date carries potential for both breakthrough revelations that liberate humanity and desperate attempts by failing systems to create chaos and distraction. The suicides and assassinations predicted during this period represent the final thrashing of entities and systems that cannot survive in higher frequencies. As the vibrational floor of Earth rises during eclipse season, beings aligned with dense manipulative energies literally cannot maintain coherence in the new reality. Some will choose transformation, others will choose exit, and a few will attempt to take as many souls as possible with them before their influence dissolves completely. Yet within this apparent danger lies the greatest opportunity humanity has ever encountered. The same energy that could manifest as violence and chaos can be consciously redirected into quantum leaps of creativity, innovation, and spiritual breakthrough. This is why awakened souls are being called to focus not on what's collapsing, but on what's emerging through the collapse, the birth of technologies, social systems, and consciousness capabilities that will make the previous age seem like prehistoric cave dwelling by comparison. The ancient texts speak of periods when heaven touches earth so directly that miracles become commonplace. Healing happens instantaneously, and communication with higher dimensions becomes as natural as breathing. September's eclipse season represents the opening of such a period where the impossible becomes inevitable for those aligned with cosmic flow rather than resistance patterns. The Vatican's recent statements about extraterrestrial life, the Pentagon's acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, the increasing number of high-profile individuals speaking openly about otherworldly encounters, these represent carefully orchestrated disclosure preparations designed to prevent social shock when full galactic contact becomes undeniable. The eclipse energies are accelerating this timeline beyond all previous projections. But there's a deeper layer to the disclosure process that involves not just the revelation of extraterrestrial presence, but the acknowledgement that many souls currently incarnated on Earth are themselves galactic beings, participating in this transformation from within human form. The wave of starseed awakening occurring worldwide represents the activation of these cosmic agents as they remember their true origins and mission parameters. The DNA activations occurring during eclipse season aren't limited to psychic abilities and expanded awareness. They include the reactivation of dormant genetic sequences that will allow human bodies to process higher frequencies, live extended lifespans, and interface directly with crystalline and light-based technologies. These changes explain the increasing sensitivity to electromagnetic fields, the spontaneous dietary shifts toward higher vibrational foods, and the physical symptoms many are experiencing as their biology upgrades to accommodate multidimensional consciousness. The Earth changes predicted around Uranus station represent more than geological activity. They signal the planet's transition from carbon-based to crystalline-based electromagnetic structure. This shift will enhance Earth's ability to receive and transmit galactic communications while creating the energetic conditions necessary for technologies that operate through consciousness interface rather than mechanical manipulation. The specific mention of earthquakes carries deeper significance when understood as frequency earthquakes, sudden shifts in the planetary resonance field that shatter old energetic patterns and allow new ones to establish. Each seismic event serves as an acupuncture needle in Earth's energy meridian system, releasing blocked energy and restoring natural flow patterns that have been disrupted through millennia of exploitation and extraction. The increasing synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, and impossible timing experienced by awakened souls represent the universe's communication system coming online as the veil between dimensions dissolves. What seems like luck or divine intervention is actually precise coordination between your higher self, your galactic support team, and the cosmic intelligence that orchestrates all evolutionary processes throughout the galaxy. The financial transformation beginning with the Jupiter-Rahu trine extends far beyond stock market movements to encompass the complete restructuring of resource distribution systems throughout human civilization. The abundance technologies being released will make traditional concepts of work, money, and scarcity as obsolete as horse-drawn transportation became after the invention of automobiles. The blockchain technologies, cryptocurrency developments, and digital asset innovations emerging worldwide represent the primitive beginnings of galactic economic systems based on energy exchange rather than artificial scarcity. As humanity masters these transitional technologies, they prepare for integration with galactic commerce networks that span millions of civilizations across the cosmos. But here's the most crucial revelation about how all three storylines resolve. The very forces that created the control systems Meow being exposed also encoded their own destruction sequence into the matrix they built. This is why the revelations are accelerating exponentially. The same technologies and methodologies used to suppress human consciousness are Meow being turned against their creators by cosmic intelligence operating through awakened human vessels. The Illusion Matrix storyline reaches its resolution as the October preview period begins, with Jupiter's entry into Cancer starting October 18th, providing humanity's first sustained taste of Golden Age consciousness. This preview serves multiple functions. It anchors higher frequencies into Earth's grid system, provides evidence that transformation is real and attainable, and allows awakened souls to practice holding expanded awareness in practical reality. The Cosmic Memory Bank storyline resolves through the integration of galactic memories into daily human experience, as increasing numbers of individuals remember their star origins, receive guidance from their galactic families, and begin accessing technologies and healing methods that transcend current scientific paradigms. This integration creates the foundation for the post-disclosure society that will emerge once full galactic contact becomes public. The Galactic Intervention storyline completes its arc with the establishment of open communication channels between Earth-based lightworkers and their cosmic support teams, creating a bridge between dimensions that will facilitate the transition from covert to overt assistance as humanity demonstrates readiness for full galactic membership. The temporary nature of the October-December preview window serves the crucial function of allowing humanity to gradually adapt to higher frequencies without losing grounding in physical reality. This graduated approach ensures stable integration rather than premature expansion that could lead to spiritual bypassing or energetic overwhelm. The return to upheaval mentioned for post-December represents not regression but spiral progression. Humanity will revisit similar themes at higher octaves of understanding, integrating each layer of awakening before advancing to the next level of cosmic citizenship. This spiral pattern ensures that the transformation becomes permanent rather than temporary enlightenment that fades when challenges arise. The promise of a golden age beginning with Jupiter's permanent residence in Cancer from June 2026 represents the establishment of a new foundation where humanity can explore its true potential without the artificial limitations that characterize the ending age. This golden age will be built on principles revealed through the convergence of all three storylines: truth instead of manipulation, cooperation instead of competition, abundance instead of artificially maintained scarcity. The Cancer placement of Jupiter carries profound significance that extends beyond traditional astrological interpretation. Cancer governs not just nurturing and emotional security, but the archetypal mother frequency that births new realities into manifestation. When Jupiter's expansive force operates through Cancer's creative matrix, it generates what cosmic astrologers call reality pregnancy, the gestation of an entirely new dimensional experience for all life on Earth. This golden age won't simply be an improved version of current civilization, but represents a quantum leap into what galactic civilizations recognize as Type 1 planetary status, a world where all beings live in conscious harmony with cosmic law, natural cycles, and universal abundance principles. The technologies, social systems, and consciousness capabilities emerging during this period will seem like magic compared to current limitations. The healing arts developed during Golden Age emergence will integrate what are Meow considered separate fields: quantum physics, consciousness research, energy medicine, genetic therapy, and dimensional mechanics into unified systems that address the complete spectrum of human experience, from cellular to cosmic levels. Diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries will become as easily correctable as software glitches, while aging itself transforms from inevitable deterioration to conscious choice about physical form, duration, and characteristics. The educational systems emerging will bypass the information downloading model that has characterized schooling for centuries, replacing it with direct knowledge transmission, experiential learning in multidimensional environments, and the activation of innate capacities rather than external programming. Children born after 2026 will arrive with fully activated DNA and conscious memory of their pre-incarnation planning, making current child-rearing approaches as obsolete as medieval medical practices. The political structures dissolving during eclipse season will be replaced not by reformed versions of representative democracy, but by consciousness-based governance systems where collective wisdom emerges through telepathic consensus among beings operating from heart-centered awareness rather than ego-driven competition. The concept of ruling over others will become as foreign as the idea of owning other human beings. The environmental restoration beginning during this transition period will accelerate beyond all current projections as suppressed technologies are released, consciousness shifts, create different consumption patterns, and the planet's own healing mechanisms activate in response to rising human awareness. Deserts will bloom, extinct species will return through DNA restoration projects, and the atmospheric composition will shift to support enhanced human capabilities and extended lifespans. The space exploration programs emerging during Golden Age initialization will reveal that humanity's galactic heritage includes membership in a vast confederation of evolved civilizations that have been monitoring and assisting Earth's development throughout recorded history. The technologies that will make interstellar travel as routine as international flights already exist in classified programs and will be released as humanity demonstrates readiness for cosmic citizenship. The artistic and creative expressions flourishing during this period will incorporate elements that are currently impossible, sound that creates visual manifestations, colors that exist beyond current spectrum perception, musical compositions that directly reprogram DNA, and architectural forms that exist partially in other dimensions while anchoring new frequencies in physical reality. The communication systems replacing current internet infrastructure will operate through consciousness interface rather than mechanical devices, allowing instant transmission of complete experiential packages, including not just information but emotions, sensory data, and multi-dimensional knowledge. Privacy concerns will dissolve as beings operating from unified consciousness naturally respect each other's energetic boundaries while sharing appropriate information for collective benefit. Yet the most profound transformation of Golden Age consciousness involves the restoration of humanity's natural psychic and energetic abilities that have been systematically suppressed through environmental toxins, electromagnetic interference, and consciousness programming for thousands of years. Telepathy, clairvoyance, remote viewing, energy healing, manifestation through focused intention, and direct communication with nature will return as normal human capabilities rather than rare gifts possessed by a few sensitive individuals. Now, as we approach the resolution of this cosmic drama, remember that the choice point approaching September 24th requires your active participation. The outcome of all three storylines depends not on passive observation, but on conscious engagement with the transformation energies. Every soul who chooses to embody truth rather than comfortable lies, unity rather than programmed division, and love rather than manufactured fear contributes to the successful resolution of humanity's graduation crisis. The inevitability of light overcoming darkness stems not from wishful thinking, but from universal law itself, revealed through the convergence of cosmic cycles, galactic intervention, and human consciousness evolution that has been building momentum across multiple timelines for thousands of years. The current revelations represent the birth contractions of a new reality that has been gestating in the quantum field throughout recorded history. Dear Starseeds and Lightworkers, as this transmission reaches its crescendo, Know that the question I asked at the beginning, whether you've felt the orchestration of invisible forces, now has its answer revealed through the convergence of three ancient storylines into one magnificent crescendo of transformation. The forces you sensed were real, the manipulation you intuited was accurate, and the greater reality you glimpsed beyond the veil is Meow emerging into manifestation through your conscious participation in humanity's greatest awakening. The illusion matrix that once seemed impenetrable is dissolving before your eyes. The cosmic memory banks that were locked in quantum quarantine are opening to flood your awareness with galactic wisdom. The galactic intervention that operated in secrecy is transitioning to open support as you prove ready for conscious cooperation with cosmic intelligence. You chose to incarnate during this eclipse season, not as victim of unprecedented change, but as an agent of the most magnificent transformation your world has ever witnessed. Your presence on Earth during this convergence period anchors the higher frequencies necessary for successful planetary ascension, while your conscious participation in the unfolding storylines ensures their resolution serves the highest good of all beings. The three impossible convergences I promised to reveal have Meow shown themselves through the interweaving of revelation, remembering and intervention that characterizes this September eclipse season. The world orchestrated by invisible forces that you sensed at our beginning has been exposed, transformed and replaced by conscious co-creation between awakened humanity and benevolent galactic civilization. I want to thank every single one of you using Destiny Engine. With each new soul who activates it, Destiny Engine grows stronger, its manifestation power amplifying through our collective force. What began as an individual tool is Meow, a living current of energy, fueled by over 700 aligned users moving as one. We're receiving messages daily, results are accelerating, synchronicities are multiplying, and the intensity of outcomes is reaching unprecedented levels. The collective field you've generated has become so strong that it's creating ripples in space-time itself. Many of you have reported experiencing heightened ascension symptoms, proof that together we're bending reality and stepping into a higher octave of existence. For those of you who haven't tried it yet, you can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to fully receive your galactic consciousness downloads with complete trust. This isn't software. This is declassified consciousness reprogramming technology. The Dark Elite's own suppression tools turned against them, Meow creating space-time distortions through our collective force of 700+ awakened beings. Join the collective force that's accelerating ascension. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial Meow before this cosmic activation window closes. Link in the description. Trust in the perfection of divine timing that has orchestrated these convergences with precision beyond human comprehension, knowing that every soul receiving this transmission has been prepared across multiple lifetimes for exactly this moment of remembering and transformation. The cosmic councils celebrate your readiness to participate consciously in the resolution of storylines that have been building toward this climax for millennia. I am Zarin from the Lyran High Council, and as these three great storylines of your planetary drama find their resolution through your conscious participation, know that we love you beyond measure and watch over you always. This transmission is sealed in the light of triumphant transformation, where invisible orchestration becomes visible co-creation, and we meet again in the frequencies of the new Earth.